Like Purdue, it's just an example. Purdue losing to Fresno State is okay. We still win the Big Ten West. But me,
Billy Napier gets fired. I'm just kidding.
hey, really the best time of the year. I will be seated watching the Red Zone for 7 hours on Sunday. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Backyard Banter. My name is Jonathan Shields, and I'm joined by James Keck and Tanner Stair. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hanging in there.
Yeah, we're alright.
Hanging in there.
Bears lost. The Bears lost.
Hey, your
Great
team won.
weekend. Yeah, and the Bucks won. Bucks won. Bears lost. God, it's great.
And you're happy about
I was
it.
telling Mayo on the couch, man. We were watching the Bears game. I was like, kind of hope the Bears lose so I can rub it in your guys' face a little bit.
There's no rubbing in.
I'm just kidding.
We're used
But,
to it.
It doesn't get much worse than this. So.
No, it doesn't.
But just an electric weekend, man. How good is it having college football followed by NFL? Besides the Bears losing,
Yeah.
just what are you guys' thoughts on just we're back, man?
It is incredible. I mean, Tanner and I put some hours in on these chairs here, and we had 2 TVs working on Saturday. Me and Tanner came out here probably around 11,
Right when
kickoff,
the games were kicking off.
and I was like, dude, why don't we add another TV?
Back. Oh yeah.
So we brought one in, and sure enough, and then
Electric.
both of our games got rained. The Notre Dame game, Purdue game didn't start till 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but it's great to be back. There were some big college games, and the NFL was back, so which is always a good time. So
Yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. I did my Florida rant 2 episodes ago. They're gonna go on their Bears rant, but before that, let me just say I watched not the whole game, a lot of the first half and a little of the second. But look, the Bears won 2 games last year. I know they completely changed their team. 3 games last year, excuse me. And they
respect
Put
their
some
name.
respect.
and
on
they
that.
completely they got a lot of new players, but man, their O-line looked really bad. Their defense looked fine, but not. I mean, they made Jordan Love look like the next Bear killer for the next 10 years.
well, he's gonna beat him. What.
But I just I had the Bears winning 6-7 games, which I think is realistic expectations for them.
Mm-hmm.
So them losing this game isn't the end of the world or a shock to me.
No.
But I was telling Tanner that they play Tampa next week, and it's not a must win, but man,
Feels pretty
you
close to
gotta win that game, right? And you play the Chiefs. You really don't want to start 0-3, right? But anyway, you guys go ahead.
I'm gonna start us off here. So
We're not supposed to interrupt for the next 2 minutes.
We're not still sitting around. No interruptions, guys.
Oh.
Tanner's very animated.
No.
Let me just structure this. Tanner's been very quiet today. He's been in his feels since the Bears lost.
So first and foremost, Matt Eberflus. This is the NFL.
Yeah.
You cannot let, I don't care who it is at quarterback, you can't let an NFL quarterback sit in a clean pocket the whole entire game while your secondary is sitting in a zone and just expect to win. I mean, an NFL quarterback that has time against a zone defense is going to pick it apart. I don't care who it is. The Bears, on 13% of their plays, ran blitzes. That was the lowest mark out of any team in the NFL week 1 as far as blitzing. You have to blitz more. And you can't just sit in zone if you aren't going to blitz. You can't just sit in zone and expect to get stops. You can't expect your 4-man pass rush to get to the quarterback when it's not a good pass rush. You have to design something. You have to do something to get the ball out of his hands quicker, especially a quarterback with not very much experience. You don't just let him sit there. And offensively, I mean, just a brutal game plan. I mean, you talk about screen pass after screen pass. You throw the ball past 10 air yards 3 times. Now, whether or not that's all the coaching staff or Justin Fields, we don't know that. He could have missed some reads or something, but it's the NFL. You got to throw the ball downfield. You got to have a vertical passing game, and that's something the Bears did not do at all, not one bit. And it was very frustrating to see. It was horrible. It was just horrible offensive game plan. It was nothing like we saw the second half of last year. Wouldn't you agree? Just nothing at all. Justin Fields had one design run. What is he best at? Running. Is he the best athlete on the field? Almost every time.
Yep.
Why is he not getting more design runs? I completely lost and flabbergasted. Big word there for me at our game plan.
It's like a 6-point Scrabble word.
Yeah. So I'm very frustrated. With that being said, this isn't necessarily my thoughts, but it just sounds good, so I'm going to say it. The Bears won week 1 last year, and look at what happened. So, week 1 to week 2 is where teams make their biggest strides, so the Bears better have a response in week 2. That's all I got to say.
I'm going to interrupt before you go real quick, James. I think them not running Justin Fields is to preserve him. Like, how many times do you want him running in between the tackles and getting just hit like that, like a running back? Like, it wears on you.
It depends.
Is one too low? Yes, but do you want to see that 8 times? Probably. I wouldn't personally. Just getting battered like that.
Here's the thing. It comes down to not necessarily a certain amount of times, right? Like, as we go on and talk about the week, we're going to talk about. I want to talk about like Derrick Henry's carries. Why didn't he get more, right? I can just think of the first drive the Bears had. It was the 3rd and 1, and they decided to have Cole Kmet sneak under center. Would that work in other teams? Could that work again? Yes. But when you have a quarterback that you know can just go and get the first down, quarterback draw, go get the first down, Justin. That's your job. Go get the first down, right? That's where the game started off as a huge L, right? This offense, and this is something I saw on Twitter, is a baby-proof offense. This offense right now is so bad because they don't trust Justin Fields. And you can't tell me that they do, right? Because the screenplay on 3rd and 7 is because they don't trust Justin Fields.
Yeah, no, you're
right. And then another thing, DJ Moore, best wide receiver right there, was he being guarded by their best corner? Yes, 100%. Right? Chase Claypool is awful.
2nd round pick for Chase
He is so
Claypool,
bad.
by the way.
So bad.
I said it at the time. That was an outrageous trade for a 2nd round pick.
He is so bad, right?
2nd round pick. Ended up being, 36 overall?
And Tanner, I hope something sparks in his mind.
Terrible.
He can't set a block. He can't catch the ball. He can't run a route. He won't stay on the field. All he wants to do is do TikTok dances, right? Because he can't. Right, exactly. So, again, just bear with me, okay?
I'm well aware of just Chase Claypool.
But the offensive line somehow got worse on Sunday than it was last year, right? Let me read you some stats here.
Let's hear it.
Nate Davis, our big free agency signing, right? We spent some good money on him, right? 9 pressures.
Ooh.
Right?
It's not good. Isn't he a guard?
Yes.
That's extra.
Okay. Lucas Patrick, 5 pressures. Okay. Cody Whitehair, 5 pressures, 1 sack, 1 hit. Okay. Darnell Wright, 5 pressures. You know who our best offensive lineman was? Who ended up costing us a lot? Braxton Jones, right? Who had at least 3 or 4 penalties called on him, whether it was holding, maybe illegal man downfield, something like that. Ready? The Bears gave up the most pressures in week 1 with 25. Okay?
It's bad.
You know who had the fewest?
Packers.
They had 2.
Oof.
They had 2. And here's the thing about the defense, okay? Tremaine Edwards,
$100 million.
Edmonds,
Heard it both ways.
is a dog. Okay? He is a dog. Okay? The defensive line, I don't think teams are going to be able to run on us all year long. Right? And that has a lot to do with the fact that we can't get to the quarterback, so they're all on the line. And I think our linebackers are good enough to cover the run. Our secondary needs to stop sitting in the zone. I think we're athletic enough to cover man, right? And I think that's just whatever. But you know, remember Andrew Luck, right? Back in the heyday when he just randomly retired. And he said he was tired of getting hit.
Yeah.
Okay? He got sacked 174 times in 86 games.
Absurd.
Isn't that a very good reason to retire? Justin Fields has now been sacked 95 times in 28 games. Okay? Which
so
is
bad.
on pace for 291 sacks in 86 games, which is 120 more than Andrew Luck.
Let's just I'm gonna preface that with saying, it would be more if Justin Fields didn't run a 4.
Wasn't that athletic?
So
Yeah,
think
athletic,
about
yeah.
that. So Nate Davis gave up 9 pressures and not a single sack. If that was any other quarterback besides maybe Lamar Jackson and Patrick, whatever, besides the top end speed quarterbacks, Justin Fields might get sacked 15 times that game.
It goes back to the point where this Bears team has absolutely nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. I really don't think that.
Not absolutely.
Right, because Justin Fields, a quarterback going into his 3rd year is the most important year for him, right? Because if he doesn't make that stride forward, he's not going to get a contract. He's going to be a backup for most likely the rest of his career. That's just the inevitable of what it's going to be. The Bears are going to have to move on, right? So the play calling needs to say, screw it, go play ball. Go do what you did at Ohio State, right? But these dump offs, these screens, it's not all on him.
But
I was kind of going to lean into one more point. Take the leash off.
Exactly.
Take the leash off of him. Let him play.
Exactly.
Let Justin Fields play. Let him do his thing. You know. And how many times did we see a design roll out of the pocket, which is something Justin Fields is elite at.
Yeah.
Throwing on the run, and then if nothing's there, take off.
But
they don't roll him out of the pocket.
But this goes back. This isn't even this coaching staff. This goes back when Mitchell Trubisky was our quarterback under Matt Nagy. Mitchell Trubisky was statistically the best quarterback on the run, but yet what did we never have him do? Go on the run.
Yeah.
Right, here's an interesting stat. 3.7 average depth of Justin Fields' targets. 3.7 yards.
It's really bad.
It was the 6th lowest in the NFL. You're telling me we have wide receivers going, or most likely running backs, or tight ends, they're going 4 yards out, and that's our average target. Okay, that is awful. Okay, another point, Cole Kmet needs to step it up. Cole Kmet was bad. Okay, I'm a big Cole Kmet fan, right? But he was bad. DJ Moore can't be targeted 2 times. We can say what we want. Jordan Love, he deserved the win. He played the best quarterback. Okay, but 90 of his 240 yards was either the Aaron Jones 50-yard touchdown, or it was the wide open tight end, right? So I don't think he picked us apart again, but like Tanner said, we talked about it in the Lions-Chiefs game. If you give a quarterback time in the NFL, he's gonna find a wide open receiver, and that's what happened with Jordan Love.
And I would just say this: it should tell you something that this is year 3 Justin Fields, and they're not letting the leash off. That means in practice, inside the building, they see him every day, and he is not impressing them. Right? Why else? There's no other reason.
You're technically right, but
you guys, like, Justin Fields came out and said I was going to be the first 4,000-yard passer ever. You guys are talking about everyone, all Bears fans. I see him on TikTok. I see him on the Twitter because I follow you guys. Everyone's saying, like, man, like, offense is going to be elite this year. Going to win 10 games. Inside that building, they know something that we don't, because there's no reason a quarterback of that stature and that much skill should be doing that.
they don't start him.
Who else are you going to start? Like, you have to see what you have. You invested a first-round pick in him.
Okay, then take the leash off.
But
because even if he's not impressing you in Hallis Hall, just go out and either start somebody else and give up on him, or just don't have a baby-proofed offense and say, now we have technically 3 weapons. Because Claypool could still be a weapon. But Darnell Mooney looked great because he wasn't being guarded by their best.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing. So,
just this is the very last thing because we need to move on from the Bears. But how many? I know it's one game, but how many yards do you think Justin Fields is on pace to throw for right now?
Like 30,000.
I can do the math. It's probably like 3,700.
3,700 yards. He threw for 220 yards, and we're complaining like this.
How many attempts?
I couldn't tell you, but way too many screen attempts.
34 maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll wrap up the Bears talk there, and we're going to get into the rest of the NFL. Now we're going to move on to the rest of the NFL, and your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 1-0. Look, the Vikings. I'm going to talk about the Vikings first. Very worried about the Vikings. They are so one-dimensional. It's bad. Look, the Bucs' run defense is very good. It's been the top of the league. Besides last year, it was the top of the league the previous 2 years when Brady was there. Having big Vita Vea in the middle. Elijah Kancey, even though he missed the second half, is a dog. You like Levante David, Devin White, the best linebacker do in the league. There's a reason why you can't run the ball on them. But Justin Jefferson still went for 150, but Todd Bowles talked about it. He can go all that up the middle stuff, but if he doesn't score, it's a win for us. And he didn't score. The Bucs got the timely takeaways, 2 of them being in the red zone. And that's why they won. Baker Mayfield did just enough. The offense got it. that offense. They didn't get going until the last 2 minutes, but the Vikings coming up go to Philadelphia on Thursday Night Football, and it is just brutal from there. They played the Chiefs in there. Like, they could realistically, they needed that win.
Yeah.
Hey, they didn't get it. What did you guys see from the Vikings?
I saw a team that's missing Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Because I think Kirk Cousins, again, he's a salvageable quarterback. He threw over 300 yards.
Kirk was good.
And obviously Jay Jeff is the best wide receiver in the NFL. But when you don't have a running game, Madison is not good enough.
No. And
he's not good enough. And TJ Hawkinson, Like, he's another huge weapon that they signed. But again, are running backs becoming expendable in the NFL? Yes. But do you still need a good one? Yes. Right? And Dalvin Cook not being there is a huge loss for the Vikings. And they're my only true question mark because I think their offense is good enough if they can run the ball. But I think Madison had 33 rushing yards. I think that was their high. That's an issue. Run the ball.
No, they're so one-dimensional. And Kirk was fine. Like,
he was fine.
Like, the interception, wasn't necessarily his fault. Dude ripped it out of his arms. The fumble, his guard hit it out of his hand. And the other one, he got blindsided and stripped by Winfield. Look, I mean, we talked about this. The Bucks have dudes on defense.
Oh, yeah.
Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean on the corners can play.
Yeah.
Antoine Finn Jr. being a safety can play. That D line, the Bucks are going to be a top 10 to 7 defense for a reason.
Yeah.
But look, the confidence that Baker Mayfield plays with is contagious. I don't know if you guys saw the end of the game, putting his shoulder down, getting that first down on 3rd and 3, then putting the out route to Godwin where only he could get it to seal it. Like, it showed me a lot of trust to throw it on that 3rd and 11 without using it the last time. I would have ran it, make them go down the field and go 90 yards in a minute 10 with no timeouts to do it.
Win the game.
But yeah, I mean, the Bucks can't run it. Like,
that's the issue.
Like, Rachaad White was not good. I mean, it wasn't bad. He wasn't good. But yeah, I mean, you got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Mike Evans 6 yards and a touchdown. Chris Godwin over 50 yards and a touchdown. I mean, look, you went in there and you stole one.
Yeah. And
now you have a very winnable game against the Bears coming up. Like, if the Bucks start 2-2, the worst they can do is 2-2 going into the bye week. I mean, you take that.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it before. We're gonna move on for the Bucks. Is the NFC South as a whole went 3-1, and that one loss went against with the Panthers and Falcons. But we talked about it maybe being the worst division in football. I mean, that's a pretty good start. I know it's week 1, and we love to overreact to week 1, but very good start. Tanner, what's the game that kind of stood out to you?
I didn't really get a chance to talk about the Vikings. For me, like it comes down to two things for the Vikings. First things first is like outside of Jefferson, Hawkinson, and Danielle Hunter, like this is a very below average roster. Like very below average in my opinion. And
defensively.
I think even offensively, I just think outside of Hawkinson and Jefferson, like you take those two guys out, Kirk Cousins isn't good.
Jordan Addison, 60-yard bomb.
Jordan Addison's still a rookie, and it was his first game, so we still got to see some more there. But my second point is they're one-score games last year. They were what, like 9-1?
9-1.
Here we are, one-score game,
0-1.
So it's gonna flip. We knew it was gonna flip.
Look, Kirk did everything again. The Bucks opened the third quarter with a 9-minute drive.
Yeah.
And then the Vikings came back with their own 16-play drive, and then the Bucks held the ball the last 5 minutes of the game. Like, you kept the ball with the playmaker stands first. Lastly, Justin Jefferson looks huge, man. He looks different.
Gosh.
Like we talked about Drake May last week. He just looks different. God, Justin Jefferson.
He's a guy that you see him just lined up in the slot.
Wow, maybe
on the outside.
Maybe those those retro jerseys that he was in. I was like,
and you're just like
he
has set himself apart from everybody else. Yeah. And he's sitting here like thinking, I'm the best.
But we're gonna move on from our teams.
I want to talk about the Saints Titans. I don't know.
Yeah, we can go to there.
Big game for me because I got some points to make, and in regards to the Saints. Mm-hmm. Okay, I was already big on the Saints. Mm-hmm. Right. I think this team could make a run. Yeah. Okay. Is it a bit of an overreaction? Sure.
No, we love to do that after.
Okay, but we love that, right? That's what we do. Okay. Derek Carr threw over 300 yards. Okay. The defense is as good as expected.
So good.
Right?
You see that Marshall Lattimore pick?
Yeah.
Just a dog.
But here's the thing. This team is missing their best player. When Alvin Kamara gets back in week 4, is it week 4 or week 5?
After week 4. So
after week 3.
I thought it was a 4 game. Okay, so he'll be back.
This team will be so good and so hard to stop because you won't be able to score on them, and they're going to be able to score on you. Michael Thomas is back, right? If he can stay healthy and stay on the field, and you can have Derek Carr just be an average quarterback or be what we thought Derek Carr could be, this team could run the table because they have everything that you need. They don't allow points. They could put up a poop ton of points. I'm really impressed with this New Orleans Saints team.
A poop ton.
Well, we gotta be family friendly. Come on now.
No, yeah, for sure.
I love this team.
I was never high on the Titans to begin with, and the Saints only scoring less than 20 points like they did is still concerning. You can throw up for however many yards you want. If you're not scoring, it's concerning. You were going to talk about Derrick Henry only getting 15 carries. It's a problem. Ryan Tannehill 3 picks, so bad.
Ryan Tannehill had like 45 attempts or something like that.
You just don't win like that. Like
maybe 54. I don't know.
You were high on the Titans. I was not.
I was high because I assumed they would just hand the ball off to Derrick Henry.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like it's week 1, and you realize, all right, we just need to do what we need to do what we do best. Kind of the same situation as the Bears. Obviously, the Titans are a little bit better team than the Bears, but week 1 teams are figuring stuff out. Like it's a long season.
Yeah, you're right. But there's nothing to figure out about Derrick Henry. That's the thing. You know who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
He's King Henry.
Exactly.
Right? I mean.
So I want to talk about the 49ers real quick. I mean, just what a beatdown. Yeah. Right? I mean, I think by far they're the best team in the NFL.
Oh, I mean, but that was before the season, right? They had the best roster.
I thought about that before, but man, they went into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh doesn't really lose at home, and they don't lose much at all. I know Kenny Pickett looked really bad, but
they looked bad.
But my God, I mean, the Bosa kid, Warner, DeForest Buckner's not there anymore. The other lineman, I forget. I'm blanking out.
I know who you're talking about.
Just the corners. They have the Ward dude. They have the. There you go, your boy. Then on offense, Brock Purdy comes back from the freaking Tommy John baseball surgery and is just dealing. Christian McCaffrey, James, dog. You see the 85, 65-yard rush? Yeah, man. I mean, they just look different. Kyle Shanahan is, in my opinion, maybe the best coach in football. Like,
I think that's the thing.
I mean, they're just, they're scary good. Like they could go 16-1. Like, they're just, I don't know. That's my one thing I took
mean,
out
literally
of
next to my CMC, I have written dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it goes back to Brock Purdy. Mm-hmm. He fits the system.
He does.
Right? Yeah. That's the most important part. Yeah. Because in the NFL, all these guys are talented enough. They can throw the ball, they can run. Like, that's what the NFL's turned into, right? A guy that can be a little more mobile, can make a good throw, whatever. But if you don't have a system to support that quarterback, they're never going to succeed, right? So that's why it sucks, because you could have some of the best college players. They don't get drafted by the right team. Mm-hmm. Caleb Williams could be a bust because of the fact that he didn't get drafted by the right team.
Yeah, it's very true.
Right? So say the Texans are the worst team again, well, they're not going to draft a quarterback, you know what I mean? But, like, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. If the Bears have to draft Caleb Williams and Matt Eberflus somehow keeps a job and they don't make a transition, Caleb Williams will not be good because it's a system thing, and that's why Brock Purdy is so good.
Caleb Williams wouldn't even come out of he would just go back to college and make an IL.
That's what his dad said.
That's what he would do.
I mean, yeah, but here's the thing. When you have Brandon Ayuk, Debo.
Dudes everywhere. George Kittle,
CMC, I mean, Jennings. Like, they have so many dudes on this team. Yeah. That's just the offensive part. You name the defensive part. But I go back to that game and the Steelers.
Yeah, they're bad.
They suck.
Yeah.
Okay? They handed the ball off 10 times the whole game.
That's bad.
Is Najee Harris not a top 10 running back in the league?
No, he's not. No. Like, Najee no, he's not. I mean, he's running for, like, negative.
Could he be, though?
Yeah, he definitely
He got 6 carries. That can't happen.
Well, when you're not 14-0 before you even blink.
I don't disagree, but...
No, I agree. Tanner, you got anything to add?
Yeah, real quick here. There's kind of 2 games I'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
Is there, based on week 1 injuries, can I change my division winner predictions?
No.
So I can't pick the Dolphins over the Jets now.
Yeah, the Jets. We're filming this in the 4th quarter of Monday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers doesn't look good, but let's talk about the Dolphins-Chargers game because it was the most entertaining game of the weekend.
That we didn't get to watch, James.
Oh, I watched it because the Bears suck, and I was not going to waste my weekend watching the Bears.
You know what? We got it. Okay, we don't need.
The Dolphins' offense is ridiculous, man. Yeah. If Tua can stay healthy, man, they can spin it. Tyreek Hill over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's an alien. Him and Justin Jefferson are 1A and 1B in the league. It's not close. Having your number 2 be Jalen Waddle and just...
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, just not
He had
fair.
the most underrated 73 receiving yards ever.
And then I think the Chargers are going to be fine. Like, just got in a shootout. Their defense, they still have dudes on that defense. I mean, they just went up against an engine. And week 1 to week 2, like Tanner said, it's a huge step. And then anything you want to add?
Well, Eckler looked great.
Yeah, he did.
He looked great.
Yeah.
Like, he rushed over 100 yards, I think.
Yeah, my fantasy team appreciated that.
I mean, he looked really, really good. But that Dolphins team. But I think the question always is going to become, because of Tua and these head injuries, can he stay on the field?
Exactly.
But I mean, he threw for over 400 yards.
Yeah, he's a dog, man.
It's incredible. But it was I saw the highlights of the game because obviously we were busy. But it was a great game.
Anything to add, Tim?
Not really. I mean, I think the Sunday night game.
Oh, we gotta talk about that.
I will get into at least with my shambles pick.
Yeah. We talked about literally last episode of the Giants. Back on the Giants real quick. They gave Daniel Jones like a lot of money, and he took care of the ball. That's one of the reasons they're so good. He only had 5 interceptions. But, I don't know. They got Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee at the draft, but they don't really have a difference maker wide receiver. You can't pay Daniel Jones $40 million, and then they don't he got sacked like 30 times. They 40-0 on your home field.
I would have paid him $15 million after watching that.
I mean, guys, we talked about protecting football. He had 2 picks.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. You don't pay mid in the NFL. You certainly do not pay mid $40 million.
Yeah, you don't pay mid high.
I think about it this way: he got paid $2.2 million to score 0 points last night.
That's electric. Good for him.
You broke it down. Huh?
That's a big breakdown. And I want to talk about Vegas versus Denver really quick. But it was the biggest mid-off ever. Just 2 mid teams. Man, Denver.
Dude, are you reading my notes? I just put mediocre.
Look, I literally have here mid-off. But,
mediocre. Oh my
God. Russell Wilson really didn't make any steps. Sean Payne was supposed to come in here and change everything. Look the exact same. The Raiders, I think, on defense, at least don't really have dudes like other teams have. Jimmy G did just enough. Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, they got plenty on offense, but man.
Kobe Myers.
Worried about that. Yeah, and then the Bengals offense was pathetic. Joe Burrow, highest paid player, all of a sudden gets benched in the 4th quarter. But before we overreact about the Bengals, they have started 0-1, 0-2 every year since Joe Burrow's been there. So they're the one team I'm definitely not going to overreact
And
about.
he didn't practice.
Yeah, and he doesn't practice at all. And then, that's it for NFL. We're going to move on to college football. The biggest story in college football is Alabama, Texas, man.
Yeah.
We talked about it with the Chiefs last week. You don't go into Bryant-Denny or Arrowhead in these places and win. Much less with a team this talented as Alabama. And Texas went in there and beat the hell out of Alabama, man. Wow. I owe Quinn Ewers an apology.
Yeah, he looked
Quinn,
a lot better.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because you cut the mullet or did something, but my friend, you are a dog. Xavier Worthy, dog. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That one throw that Quinn Ewers off his back foot just flipped it right in the breadbasket? Are you kidding? Oh. We're going to put that clip here right now.
Texas back in Bama territory. Ewers from the pocket. Now he'll loft one downfield. A ton of air. Running underneath it. Worthy's got it for a touchdown.
And
it's clippable.
It is clippable. But, God, Texas's D-line, man. They just have dudes.
It is so good.
We talk about it. You need dudes to win. Texas got a whole lot of dudes, man. Wow. They were incredible.
Yeah. It was one of those games where, Texas just... There's not a whole lot you can say because they just did everything right, right? But you can talk about Bama because of what they didn't do right. Yeah. Their defense is not good. And when I say not good, it's weird, right? Because it's still Bama, right? And so can they still technically beat any team in the country? Yeah, they probably can, right? But they got quarterback issues.
Yeah, they do.
Okay? They've got defensive issues. They
got offensive line issues.
This is one of the worst Alabama performances that I've seen in years.
Well, for me, what it comes down to, I know Johnny mentioned the Texas D-line, which had a huge impact on the game, but for me, it just comes down to the quarterback position. I mean, just 2 polar opposites. You talk about Quinn Ewers, who was making every throw, and then you got Jalen Milroe, who literally can't throw.
Jalen Milroe, the college equivalent to Justin Fields, man. All he does is run around. Well, he's a college equivalent.
Well,
Of course. But man, all he does is run around. He had that one throw though that he hit Burton in the end zone, which was absurd. But I mean, they went out and got the Buckner kid from Notre Dame, and he didn't start. So that shows you what you want about him. I mean, quarterback's a problem. They have a 5-star coming in this upcoming class, but
they're gonna keep bringing them in.
And Texas did to Alabama what Alabama usually does to most teams. They go into those hostile environments and just take the crowd out of the game and beat them down. Alabama was very much in the game, but when it was 13-9, it was wow, Texas should be up 20.
That's the thing. It was a more dominant win.
I mean, Quinn Ewers went for 350 and 3 touchdowns. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was just so impressed with Texas. I couldn't say enough about it. What we need to talk about is that the SEC is no longer the best conference. And when I'm saying that, you know it's a big deal. Florida, LSU, South Carolina, Bama, Texas A&M, all lost to big games with other conferences. It's a problem. Like, for this year at least.
It's especially a problem when the SEC doesn't play anybody, typically.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because they normally don't need to. Like, they normally beat up on each other, and then they go in the college football playoff and beat the hell out of whoever is there. I mean, the Pac-12 has 8 teams ranked. And the last year this existed, it's legitimately the last dance. Like, the Pac-12 is awesome.
I love it.
But yeah, I mean, really big concerns with the SEC. I'll tell you what, Tennessee goes to Florida this weekend, and for the SEC's sake, Tennessee needs to win that game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tennessee, like, they're not going to, but they need to. Tennessee's the only other top 10 team with the SEC right now, and God, they got to win that game, right? But
I'd like to bring up another game that's a must-win. South Carolina and Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia's
I
winning
think
that game.
I don't know. I think that game is going to be pretty intriguing.
Yeah.
Just for I think
it's in Georgia though.
Yeah, but South Carolina has played them really, really close the last couple of years.
Yeah, especially last year. That was
That game will be better than people think.
No, I don't disagree, but Georgia's been kind of coasting right now. I'm not worried about Georgia on the slightest.
That's what you
I
can
think
do
they're
when you're the national champion, right?
And I want to talk about Miami over A&M.
Yeah.
I mean, that is huge for Miami. I said that they're 1 year away. They're here.
They're here.
Do it.
No.
Do it. No, you high five.
It's cut. It's cut.
I'm not even gonna put up with you. It's against my religion. But God, Tyler Van Dyke, man,
Yeah, him.
was just throwing that thing around like it was backyard football.
Yeah.
Jimbo needs to be fired.
No
man.
kidding.
Like
so
he
bad.
brings in all these dudes. Evan Stewart, dog.
Yeah.
Brings in all these dudes. Everyone's always talking about, man, A&M. This is the year. They had that fake 2020 year with Kellen Mond where they beat North Carolina in the Orange Bowl. I don't care. They suck.
They recruit so well
Yeah.
to never
For
perform on
nothing.
the field. Yeah.
I mean, that was a shootout, and Miami did just. That is such a big win for Miami.
They lose a big piece though, and that end of the game there.
All things positive coming out.
Yeah, it sounds like
There
he's
was
good
good
to go.
news, but at the end of the day, it's still scary. Like when you bring out a cart,
Yeah, it's
you
scary.
automatically think
We're talking about the All-American safety for Miami,
Especially when it is by
safety.
far the best player on the field that game.
Yeah.
And you're a minute away from winning that game.
Yeah.
Like, the place was rocked.
You just watched
Yeah.
the highlights of that game,
Yeah.
like before he got hurt.
The place was not
and
rocky.
he's just
Don't say Miami was rocky.
he's just running around that
with the
thing.
49,000 fields, and their stadium is 30 minutes away from campus. Don't even started on
It's
that.
not about the numbers, man. It's about how engaged those 49,000.
You know how many Florida had against McNeese State?
I could care less.
88K.
I could care
You're
less.
just mad because Illinois lost to Kansas.
I mean, am I a little disappointed? Sure, but
But
I mean, NIU also lost to Southern Illinois.
I saw
that one. Huh?
But Oregon and Utah both survived. I want to talk about those quick. Utah needs rising back ASAP because their offense is inept without them. They got lucky against Florida with that 75-yard bomb, and then Florida having the mishap with the players. But yeah, Oregon winning to Lubbock. Tanner, I still like your Texas Tech prediction. They're going to be fine.
I think they're going to be pretty good still, yeah.
But Oregon, Bo Nix, my Heisman pick, 360, 2 touchdowns, 359. I'm rounding up. And they survived there. But
Yeah, they look good.
do you want to get in the top 25 so James can yell at me apparently?
I'm not going to yell at you.
Our top
I'm going to
10.
yell.
My bad, top 10. We don't have
so
25
stupid.
teams.
Yeah, I'm going to.
My 10th team in the country right now is Colorado.
It's so stupid.
Shedeur Sanders is so good. His ball placement is elite.
You said that last week.
Yeah. And
But
I almost put him in last week.
I have a counter argument to your own point.
Say it.
So you mentioned how you think TCU has a big fall off. You think TCU's fake, right?
They're
So
fake.
and then Nebraska. Do you think Nebraska is a quality team?
I think Nebraska has a quality defense. Yes.
Okay.
They look
So, based off your statement about TCU, and we all know Nebraska's not a quality team, what has Colorado done in theory, according
Guys,
to your
they
points?
won 2 games last year. Like, we've never seen this happen before.
And they win
Johnny,
2 games
Johnny,
now,
Johnny.
and they're in the top.
They're
10.
in their top 10 and they
Yeah.
won 2 games.
My top 10. Mine.
But yours is supposed to be the
based
right.
off,
Right? Yours said everything
money
happens
back,
here.
your money back. I'm telling you, in my top 10, based off of what I've seen, they're the 10th. Who do you have right there?
I don't have them sniffing the top 10.
I'm not necessarily.
Colorado has looked more impressive than Tennessee.
I'm not
They have
necessarily.
looked- you're saying they haven't been more impressive? I'm not. If they're in a
They've
neutral
been
right
more
now,
surprising.
I don't know who wins.
Impressive and surprising are 2 different
Yeah,
things.
I'm not arguing against you. I'm just like, when you say TCU is going to be that bad, and we know Nebraska's not that good, I'm questioning why? Like, what's the
Here's the
why?
thing.
Guys,
I'm
you
not
guys-
say it till I'm blue, but they're gonna win next week. Congrats, you're gonna beat Colorado State. Then they're gonna go play USC, and they're gonna find out what kind of football team they are.
Yeah.
And it's not that good.
And let me say something. Shadur Sanders is going to have a game against USC because their defense sucks.
I don't care. Travis Hunter deserves more credit.
He does. I'm not. If you would let me finish, I get to Travis Hunter.
All right.
Look, guys, we've never seen this happen ever. Bringing in 60+ new people. They won 2 games last year. This is revolutionary. This season from Dion is gonna change everything. It's gonna change the way how college football plays. Billy Napier, who wins 6 games in year 1 and loses in the first week, that's not gonna be acceptable anymore. When you can just bring in a new team and be competitive.
I hope it's not the case.
Neither do I.
Dear Lord, if I have to find out that every team gets 60
if Dion wins 8 games this year with the team that he brought in off the street, like.
Off the street.
He brought in 65 new players.
In theory, they could still go 2-10.
Yeah, in theory they could. But just based off what I've seen, I'm buying into the hype. They're gonna win more than 7 games. Will they beat USC?
I'm wondering what teams you're kicking out.
Tennessee is not my top 10. They're not. They haven't impressed me. Joe Milton is the mid version of Hendon Hooker. Anyway, you guys can go.
I mean, I don't have Colorado on my top 10.
I certainly don't either.
Like I said, they're not even sniffing.
And that's your top 10.
But if it's not right, what do you say? If it's right here, you get money back.
Yeah, but mine's right. So if you go by me,
that's fine.
If it's wrong, I'll give you your money back.
I go to the fact that I go by talent. I go by taking opportunity and running with it, and that's what Tennessee's done. Right? Have they been the most impressive team? No. Right? They took care of Virginia.
They struggled against whoever they played.
I don't know who
Charlotte or whoever. I don't care.
This week,
Tennessee's not the team they were last year.
No.
They played Austin P. Let's put some respect on their name.
I thought it was PA.
Look, whether they they're going to struggle in the Swamp this week. I'm not going to say they're going to lose, but they're going to struggle. And then when they play one of those top teams, like Alabama by 90.
That's what I'm saying with Colorado. They're going to run into those teams that they can actually.
And we'll see.
So that's why I got Tennessee with my 10th. You just want to go 10 through 7 like we did last.
I was going to give my 10. I mean, my
10.
My 10's already way better than your guys's. My first team out is Utah. I put Oregon in there because I think Oregon has been. They have the more impressive week 2.
Yeah,
I have Oregon at 9, and then I have Notre Dame at 8 and Penn State at 7.
Yeah, I don't have Oregon in my top 10. I have Ohio State still at 9. They're still in my top 10, but I still don't think they're that impressive. Washington snuck up to my 8, and I have Penn State at 7. So my 2 Big Ten teams, besides Michigan, are still in there.
Yeah, 9 I got Washington, 8 I got Notre Dame. I think they had a pretty good second half against NC State, and 7 I got USC.
Yeah, my 6 I have USC, 5 I have Ohio State. They're kind of doing what Georgia's doing. They don't play anyone. Let them coast. They're going to play a real team, and they're going to play Ohio State football. I'm not necessarily worried about them. And then 6, so I have USC at 6, Ohio State at 5, and then Michigan at 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Notre Dame at 6. Like Tanner said, I think they look very impressive. They've got one of the best running backs in the country. He's leading college football in rushing yards. I know they played 3 games, but it's still pretty impressive. USC at 5, Texas at 4.
I got Penn State at 6, Michigan at 5, and Ohio State at 4. So we're going.
You're still Buckeye fan over there. All right.
Anyway, my top 3 is Florida State at 3. I don't really know what to make of Florida State still because LSU might be worse than what we thought. Florida, I don't know. I think the ACC is going to really struggle this year, and Florida State might coast to the playoff. They're really good. Don't get me wrong. Keon Coleman besides Travis Hunter, is the player I've been impressed with the most.
Yeah,
anyone.
no doubt.
But anyway, Texas at 2, self-explanatory. And until someone beats Georgia's going to be number 1. Even though I did not have the number 1 last week. But now I will put respect on them again.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. I have Florida State at 3. I have Michigan at 2. Just again, they're what they have talent-wise.
Yeah.
They're waiting for that win, which again, they won't get, right? Because
until freaking November.
They have a weak schedule.
They play lawn
again,
chairs and
take care of business. You play who you play on the schedule. And like you said, Georgia, they beat Ball State. Congrats, but you take care of business. You beat them 48-3.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, at 3 I got Georgia, and really what it comes down to is I'm going based off what I've seen, and Georgia hasn't played anybody, and Texas and Florida State have. I was really 50-50 on my 2 and 1. I just put Texas at 2 and kept Florida State at 1. Really, I don't know. It was a toss-up. I guess I'm keeping Mama Shields happy. But,
Yeah, you are. You made a comment about that. Shout out Mama Shields.
Florida State Seminoles still number 1 and Texas 2. So yeah, I got to see something from Georgia first.
Yeah, that's good stuff. College football, another big weekend this week. We'll get more of that weekend in our episode on Friday. Now we're going to move into our weekly legendary and in shambles moment. I'm going to go first. We haven't talked a lot about NBA. I'm a huge NBA nerd, as you guys will. Really basketball nerd, but I have some random facts about NBA and whatnot.
So many weird ones.
But yeah, we'll get into that more as that comes on. But Kevin Porter Jr. in shambles, domestic violence against his girlfriend. Never want to see that. But promising young player for the Rockets. That Rockets team that's kind of added some. They're really bad last year. Added some veteran pieces. Jalen Green. They got one of the Thompson twins in the draft. And yeah, just a big blow for them. And just you can't really get more in shambles than that.
No, you can't be wrong. I'm going Bears. Okay, Bears offensive line, to be exact. They're in shambles.
I should have said you guys were in shambles for the Bears. I was so happy they
don't
lost.
speak for the Bears.
I was so happy they lost. Oh, Tanner was talking about this was the biggest game in Bears regular season history, and I was like, oh, jeez. So I'm happy they lost. The Bears lost.
Can I finish?
Now week 2 is the biggest.
Bears offensive line is in shambles. They allowed the most pressures in the NFL week 1, 25 of them. You put some money into it. You drafted your first pick in the draft. They're just in shambles, man.
The Bears.
Good.
You guys better hope they win next week. I'm going to be unbearable. Because the Bucks suck.
You better hope you win.
Because the Bucks suck. The Bucks suck, man. Anyway.
He's already.
All right.
Give me the Bucks.
Legend. I'm gonna. Are we going to shambles first? In shambles.
You do whatever you want.
In shambles, I'm gonna go with about the only other team that's in bigger shambles than the Bears.
Doesn't exist.
The New York Giants.
Yeah, they are.
And Daniel Jones. I mean, we said it last week. $40 million.
Yeah.
I mean, he got $1 million per interception thrown last night.
Wow, you're breaking it down again.
I'm breaking it down
You're
again.
locked in, T-Star.
I mean, you don't even score. You give up 40. I had the Cowboys defense in fantasy.
47 points, man.
That was sick.
I've never seen that.
And legendary, this is kind of biased because of the same exact fantasy team, but Tyreek Hill just carried me to a win.
Tyreek Hill was a machine.
44 fantasy points.
Yeah,
I mean, I took him with a 3rd pick. It was a reach, but apparently not. I mean,
I love that pick personally.
I played against somebody who had Tyreek Hill and Dallas.
Oh, me too.
I had him on the same team.
Yeah, GG's. They put 180 points on me. I scored 90. Never survived. It's all right.
Don't win those games.
Don't win those. Do you want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. Legendary Texas. It's a huge win. Like Johnny said, you don't go into some of these stadiums and win. And then
Not even somebody's. You don't go to Bama.
And you're talking about SEC country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about arguably the best college football team in the last 10 years. Maybe, right?
No, not maybe. They've been the best program.
Dominant. They've been so dominant.
They've been the best program since 2009.
Right. So you don't go in there and you win, and not only do you win, but you destroy. And they were in charge of that game. So Texas is my legendary moment because it's going to propel them, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. No, and just to piggyback off your thing, like Bama's dominance since 2009. Like they've had 1 year with like 3 losses. I mean, they've just been so dominant. I don't know what you can compare it to someone that's more casually watching. Like the Cowboys dynasty in the 90s,
Tiger Woods.
They're like Tiger Woods or the Warriors when they had Kevin Durant. That's essentially Alabama. How dominant they've been. They've been in the playoff. They made the playoff every year for the first 4 years of its existence.
Yeah.
Like I just like it's a machine. And then they never lose at home.
No.
And then they go in there week 2. One of Bama's old assistant coaches, which never used to happen until Jimbo did it, went in there and beat him. First assistant to ever beat Nick Saban at home.
It's incredible.
I mean, just a huge one for Texas. Love the parity for the sport. Mine Champions could also have been the SEC, man. They suck. My legendary is the Pac-12. 8 teams ranked is a big deal. Only the SEC normally does that, or even the Big Ten if they have a good year. Pac-12, just so impressed. Even UCLA sneaking there at the bottom. Colorado is the best team ever. And then USC, who's at the top, Oregon, Washington, Oregon State, like you can go on. Like there's just dudes in that conference.
Best team ever.
Best team ever.
What are
I'm
we
drinking what Dion's freaking pouring me, man. Feed it to me, Dion. Yeah, I'm just very impressed with the Pac-12. That's literally their last dance going on right now. Hopefully, Oregon State can find a home
I
somewhere.
was just about
They
to
got to
say.
rip up these contracts and say we're not leaving. We're staying in the Pac-12.
Big Ten's probably gonna pay them billions.
It's crazy, man, how the Oregon State Beavers are going to win the greatest conference that's ever
The
played
Beavers.
college football.
The Beavers.
They're not gonna win the conference, but quickly, want
you
to
have a
talk
legendary
about.
moment?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
Oh, sorry.
Some other notable games in college football. Wisconsin lost to Washington State, which was awesome.
Who's the favorite in the Big Ten West right now?
Not Purdue. The hell?
Then who is?
Purdue.
Purdue.
I would not. I'd take Wisconsin by freaking 30. Feed me Wisconsin.
Man, we get them in 2 weeks.
I can't
Big
wait
night
for
game
that.
at home.
Yeah, I hope Purdue loses. I'm kidding.
I hate
never-
Purdue so
I
much.
hate Purdue too.
Like, they're not good.
You
Like-
guys, Tanner especially, has just made me root for against all Chicago
Like,
sports.
It's
And
weird.
Purdue.
Okay, because Illinois, right? This is weird. Off track. I'm an Illinois, traditionally, Illinois basketball fan, Notre Dame football fan, because otherwise, most of the years, it's really hard to be an Illinois football fan, and then a really hard time being a Notre Dame basketball fan, right? And those are the two big college sports. But I follow Illinois more now because I live with you, and you're a big Purdue fan, but I hate watching Purdue. Their colors suck, right? Their logo sucks.
It does
right?
suck.
It's so bad. Okay?
Shout out Mike Allscott.
Like-
I love him.
Well,
I understand you guys have something working for you, right? But I'm just
What are they
not
have
a
working for him? They lost to
good
Fresno
basketball.
State.
No, good basketball.
Who lost to a 16 seed that didn't have someone talking
I'm catching it
16?
straight.
Yeah,
I'm catching it
you
straight.
are.
This is not fair.
Fairleigh Dickinson.
This is not
I could have pointed
fair.
them on a map. God, Purdue sucks.
You know Texas?
No.
You know what?
Maybe.
I'm sorry. I don't know what turned me like. Made
The
me
Bears
do that.
suck.
Yeah.
The Cubs aren't gonna
I think I'm
win.
just agitated.
Don't even get me started on the Pacers.
But like Purdue, congratulations! You beat a bad Virginia
No,
Tech team.
congratulations! You almost beat Fresno
If you
State.
hate our colors that much, it's going to be so much sweeter when we're playing in the Big Ten championship game, and you just have
At
to look
6
at
and
it one at a
7,
time.
Purdue
and,
ball
again,
makers.
and you have no chance to win the game.
God, I hate Purdue.
Excuse me, but if we're in the Big Ten championship game, I don't care how much we get killed by. We're in the Big Ten championship.
God, we're not gonna hear the end of it if Purdue beats Wisconsin.
That's, the Big Ten needs to join no divisions because that way Purdue can actually show their true colors and be like mid to low pack. Of
Yeah, we really went out.
I don't know what happened.
We went out Tanner for no reason.
Snap my fingers.
That's wild.
But anyway, we're gonna wrap it here. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far. Made it this far. Make sure to subscribe. It really pushes us out more. We've gained 10 subscribers since our last video went out. So if you made it this far. Subscribe, and we'll see you on Friday.
Deuces.
Went out Tanner for no reason.
What happened? I think he said something.
Oh, we're out.
He started talking about Purdue. That's what he did.
Yeah.